wishes for World Environmental Day. An American writer, lecturer, and the developer of famous courses in self-improvement, salesmanship, corporate training, public speaking, and interpersonal skills, Dale Carnegie was a poor farmer's boy and the second son of James William Carnegie and Amanda Elizabeth Harbison. He was born in 1888 in Maryville, Missouri. In spite of having to wake up every morning at 4 in his teens to milk the cows, he managed to obtain an education at the State Teachers College in Warrenburg. Selling correspondence courses to ranchers was his first job after college, after which he moved on to selling bacon, soap, and lard for Armour and Company. Carnegie quit sales in 1911 after saving $500 in order to pursue his lifelong dream of becoming a Chautauqua lecturer, but instead ended up attending the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in New York. With little success as an actor, he returned to New York, unemployed and nearly broke. Living at the YMCA, he got the idea to teach public speaking. He ran out of material in his first session. When he suggested his students to speak about something that made them angry, he discovered that the technique made the speakers unafraid to address a public audience. That's how evolved the Dale Carnegie course in 1912. And by 1914, having tapped into the average American's desire to have more self-confidence, Carnegie was earning around $500 every week. He was able to rent Carnegie Hall for a lecturer to a packed house by the year 1916. Hi, Public Speaking, a practical course for businessmen, 1926, was the first collection of Carnegie writings. It was later entitled Public Speaking and Influencing Men in Business, 1932. How to Win Friends and Influence People, when published by Simon and Schuster in 1936, became an instant bestseller and was his crowning achievement, containing practical advice on how to create success in business and personal lives. This four-part book is a tool used in Dale Carnegie training. It includes the following parts: fundamental techniques in handling people, 6 ways to make people like you, how to win people to your way of thinking, be a leader, how to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. The book had sold 5 million copies in 31 languages by the time of Carnegie's death. Carnegie served in the U.S. Army during the First World War. In 1931, his first marriage ended in divorce, and in 1944, he married Dorothy Prince Vanderbilt. In 1948, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living was first printed by Richard Clay, the Chaucer Press Limited in Great Britain. Carnegie had realized that one of the biggest problems faced by the adults was worry. He read all that he could get on worry, listened to talk on how I conquer worry, and conducted experience in his class. How to Stop Worrying and Start Living is a result of his own experiences. Addressing the subtitles of everyday life hostilities, it offers practical advice on how to stop worrying and leading life happy and fulfilled life. It introduces the fundamental facts that one must know about worry and provides the perfect way to conquer it. The book has helped and inspired many and continues to remain a classic bestseller. How to Enjoy Your Life and Your Job is a collection of selected chapters from How to Win Friends and Influence People and How to Stop Worrying and Start Living, with the ways to bring peace and happiness in your life and achieve a work-life balance. This book will make one reassess their approach to life, people, and their job. Carnegie died in 1955, aged 66, at his home in Forest Hills, New York, and was buried in the Belton, Cross Country, Missouri Cemetery. Part 1. 7 Ways to Peace and Happiness. Find yourself and be yourself. Remember, there is no one else on earth like you. 4 Good Working Habits that will help prevent fatigue and worry. What makes you tired and what you can do about it. How to banish the boredom that produces fatigue, worry, and resentment. Would you take $1,000,000 for what you have? Remember that no one ever hits a dead dog. Do this and criticize can't hurt you. Part 2. Fundamental technique in handling people. If you want to gather money, don't go over the beehive. The big secret of dealing with people. He who can do this has the whole world with him. He who cannot walks a lonely way. Do this and you will be welcome anywhere. How to make people like you instantly. Part 3. Ways to win people to you. Way of thinking. A sure way of making enemies and how to avoid it. The high road to reason. The secret of Socrates. How to get to cooperation. An appeal that everybody likes. Part 4. Ways to change people without giving offense or arousing resentment. How to criticize and not be hated for it. Talk about your own mistakes first. No one likes to take orders. Let the other person save face. In a nutshell, index. In a nutshell, all the points from this book. Only in a nutshell, 14 points only. Rules from how to stop worrying and start living. Rules from how to win friends and influence people. How to stop worrying and start living. Don't imitate others. Do not imitate others. Apply these 4 good working habits. Clear your desk of all papers except those relating to the immediate problem at hand. Do things in the order of their importance. When you face a problem, solve it then and there if you have the facts necessary to make a decision. Learn to organize, deputize, and supervise. Learn to relax at your work. Put enthusiasm into your work. Count your blessings, not your troubles. Remember that unjust criticism is often a discussed complaint. Do the very best you can. Do the very best you can. Do not imitate others. Apply these 4 good working habits. Clear your desk of your wallpaper except those relating to the immediate problem at hand. Do things in the order of their importance. When you face a problem, solve it then and there if you have the facts necessary to make a decision. Learn to organize, deputize, and supervise. Learn to relax at your work. Put enthusiasm into your work. Count your blessings, not your troubles. Count your blessings, not your troubles. Remember that unjust criticism is often a discussed compliment. Do the very best you can. Do the very best you can. Rules from how to win friends and influence people. Don't criticize, condemn, or complain. Give honest, sincere appreciations. Arouse in the other person an eager one. Become genuinely interested in other people. Make the other person feel important and do it sincerely. So respect for the other person's opinions. Never say you are wrong. Begin in a friendly way. Get the other person saying yes, yes immediately. Let the other person feel that idea in his or hers. Appeal to the noblest motives. Call attention to people's mistake indirectly. Talk about your own mistakes before criticizing the other person. Ask questions instead of giving direct orders. Let the other person save face. Yeah, in a nutshell in this book. Very interesting. And let not imitate others. Let find ourselves and be ourselves. Everything have. A very interesting book. Now I read that all the topic I read. Okay, part 1 7 Ways to Peace and Happiness. Yeah, Dale Carnegie wrote his book How to Stop Worrying and Start Living to show that life is very much what we make it. If you must learn to accept ourselves, you first learn to accept ourselves, seeing the good or clearly or the not so good, and then get busy doing the things necessary to reach our goals. We will be less likely to have either the need or the inclination to lose time and energy worrying. Okay, yeah, part 1 7 Ways to Peace and Happiness. Find yourself and be yourself. Remember, there is no one else on earth like you. I have a letter from Mr. Edith Larda of Mount Airy, North Carolina. As a child, I was extremely sensitive and shy. She says in her letter, I was overweight and my cheeks made me look even fatter than I was. I had an old-fashioned mother who thought it was foolish to make clothes look pretty. She always said, wide will veer, while narrow will tear. Wide will veer, while narrow will tear. And she dressed me accordingly. I never went to parties, never had any fun, and when I went to school, I never joined the other children in outside activity or even athletics. I was morbidly shy. I felt I was different from everybody else and entirely undesirable. When I grew up, I married a man who was several years my senior, but I didn't change. My in-laws were a poised and self-confident family. They were everything I should have been, but simply was not. I tried my best to be like them, but I couldn't. Every attempt they made to draw me out of myself only drove me further into myself. I became nervous and irritable, and I avoidable all friends. I got so bad I even dreaded the sound of the doorbell ringing. I was a failure. I knew it, and I was afraid my first husband would find it out. So, whenever we were in public, I tried to be gay and reacted my part. I knew I acted and I would be miserable for days afterwards. At last, I became so unhappy that I would see no point in prolonging my existence. I began to think of suicide. What happened to change this unhappy woman's life? Just a chance remark. A chance remark, Mr. Alred continued, transformed my whole life. My mother in law was talking one day of how she brought her children up, and she said, no matter what happened, I will always insist on their being themselves, on their being themselves. That remark is what they did. In a flash, I realized I had brought all the misery on myself by trying to fit myself into a pattern to which I did not conform. I did not conform. Okay, and then we'll meet. Thank you. Bye bye. Have a nice day.